Hi everyone, welcome to a visual arts community for teachers just like you, elementary art teachers. I'm Sarah Rising, moderator for this elementary visual arts community. Today we're going to wrap up our three-part series on early finishers in the art room, and I'm going to share with you a video demonstration that you can use for yourself or with the kids. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of the fun, and as always, post a response in our discussion. I will include a link to this presentation so that you can access the video directly as well. All right, here we go. Like I said, this is the Early Finishers in Art Part 3, and we're going to watch the video for the cross contour line teacher demonstration. And this is the project. Now, this may look familiar because I also shared it in the substitute lesson plans. My students love this project. I try not to do it every year. I try to just keep it to every other year. But there are lots of variations that you can take with this as well. But this is also a really good one that you can use for early finishers. One of the things that I do with each unit is I will post a early finishers lesson on a different board. And then this is what I use for that. And then I include the video that students can watch if they need it. They don't have to watch the video, but it's there. That way I don't have to demonstrate the lesson for the class. It would just be for the kids who finish early. And then this becomes an ongoing lesson because they generally can't finish this in a day or two, and they love coming back to it. What I've included and what you'll see in the presentation is the link to this document, so you can click on this and open it. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share the video. Enjoy.
Sheet of paper, it has all of your directions on it. It includes the final product, the supplies that we need, vocabulary for the day, the steps, and there are only 4 steps in this, but it will take some time to get it just right. So as you can see, your teacher has provided you with white or black paper, and you may have a choice. You're going to use colored pencils or crayons. I'm going to be drawing mine today with a black marker, but you may choose to draw yours with a pencil, and in that case you might need an eraser. Very quickly, we'll talk about some vocabulary words that we've already covered at some point this year. Horizontal lines, those are the lines that go from right to left. They can be straight or wavy. Vertical lines go up and down, and just like the horizontal lines, they can be straight or they can be wavy or any other form they're in. And then we've talked about wavy lines, lines that aren't straight. Value is how dark or light a color is. Shade is what you get when you add a darker color, black, to a color. And highlight is when you add white or a lighter color. So you'll need to do all of these things in this project today. So it'll be a true test of your skills. So the first thing that you're going to do is draw a horizontal wavy line from left to right. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to start with that part. Now I'm going to be working on my paper in a horizontal format, but you can choose to put your paper in any format that you want. So I'm going to go horizontal. And again, it's a wavy line that goes from right to left, right about in the middle of the paper. Okay, the next step is we're going to draw 4 to 8 vertical wavy lines from the top to the bottom. And they don't have to be parallel lines. So I'm going to start in the middle at the top and draw a wavy line. You don't want to get really super wavy, just gentle waves. And then I'm going to add my second line, my third line, my fourth line, and my fifth line. Now for this project, I'm only going to have big spaces on my paper. You know what? I'm looking at this is a lot of emptiness over here. So I'm going to add an additional line. So as you can see now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertical wavy lines from top to bottom. The second step, the third step that we're going to do is fill the wormies' bodies with arched lines. Arches above the horizon line are going to turn down, and arches below the horizon line are going to turn up. And you can see in this picture, that's how that's done. All you're going to do is take these lines and carefully connect them from side to side. And you'll notice I'm starting in the middle. It doesn't matter if you start over here or over here. I just started mine there. And then, so these are above the horizon line and the arches curve down like a frown. Below the horizon line that I drew, those lines are going to curve up like a smile. And I'm not sure if you notice, but I'm keeping all of those lines ending very neatly against the edge. I'm going to stop there and I will come back when this part is finished. All right, I'm back. So as you can see, I have gone ahead and filled in all of the sections except for one. That's just what I wanted to show you for the last one. And for the last one, you're going to continue to fill. These are again above the horizon line. So I will be making my arc lines curving down. It is not important to have these touching. Some people like to have those touching, but again, it is not important. And that is what you have when you're done. Now, the fourth step, this is the fun part. This is when you're going to start to color in the sections of the worm using value. You want it to be darker along the edges where it's curved, and then lighter in the middle, and the lightest part or the highlight is going to be in the very center. And that's what gives your worms the appearance of their tubular bodies. Now there's a couple ways that you can do this. You can use colored pencils or you can use crayons. I'm going to demonstrate with colored pencils. So I'm going to choose a couple of pairs of colors. So for this, I'll choose blue and pink, and then I'll also do another wormy using red and yellow. So the first thing you have to do is kind of figure out which is your darker color. So I'm going to start with the yellow and the red. So the red is the darker color in this case. So in this wormy, I'm going to color along the edges, and my coloring marks are going to be curved. So I'm not making straight lines. I'm following the contour of the inner part of the worm's body. And I'm going to skip one. This is going to be a striped worm. So I'm going to go like this. I'm just going to show you two so you don't have to sit and watch me do this for hours on end. I will, however, have a video that is a time lapse of this so you can see it. So there's my red, and I'm going to go back in here and color dark along the edge. It's okay to turn your paper. Dark along the other edge. And then I'm going to start to go lighter. Now, I don't really love this line that goes from light red to dark red. So I'm going to fade that in. So I still have almost a dark, a medium, and then now I've got in a super, super light. Some people like to go in here with white as well to create those highlights. But I think if you're doing this on white paper, this is plenty. And then in the very middle, just going to leave it like that. And you can start to see the form forming. Now, something else that you can do with this, and let me finish this one. There's my dark, my curving line. the dark edge over here and curving in the middle. Some people like to just leave it white, and you can do that as well. I'm going to color it in just a little bit, and I'll show you a little trick. If you remember, I mentioned getting an eraser, and what you can do for this part is you can, if you're using colored pencils, erase out the center and bring back that highlight. So like I mentioned, this is going to be a yellow and red, but I wanted to show you with yellow, because it is such a light color, it gets a little bit tricky when you're trying to create those areas of dark and light. So I'm going to come in here, and the best thing that you can do in this assignment is go gradually from light to dark. And then with the yellow, I'm just going to leave it there. And then you can see I'm starting to create that shadow. Now, one other thing that you could do to create an even more pronounced value is you don't have to do it with black. I could get in here with a little red and create that shadow along the edge with the red. So you'll see that very subtle change in there. I can also do the same thing with this red. I could go in here with a darker blue, and I could create more value by very, very lightly going in and creating that shadow. So that is the option with the colored pencils. The same thing works for crayon. So if I were to use a crayon for this assignment, let me show it to you. I'll do it with shades of green on this one. So this whole worm itself is going to be red and yellow. This one I'm going to do with greens. And with the crayons, it is really just as easy as the colored pencil. But what you have to make sure you're doing is you are coloring so lightly. And again, making those curving marks on the paper with your crayon. And then I'm going over this end a second time and a third time. Second time and a third time. Right here along that edge. And then I think the cool thing about this project is people are always amazed by their own skill as they end up with that shadow that looks like that. And again, you could also do the same thing by taking a darker crayon. Maybe I'll use this turquoise color. Turquoise has a little more blue in it, so I can create that edge. And again, crayon and color pencil both work equally well. Now, I do want to show you what happens with marker. If you're doing this project with marker, let me skip over here to this side and show you on this side. If you're doing this with marker, you cannot get that super dark color. And you can see, like with marker, I get more stripes with the lines, but I can do cross hatching, and I'm using this marker. And I'm trying to go really light with it. Actually, I switched out my marker. But the problem I find with marker is that you end up with those lines that don't give you the gradual change of color. And if that's okay with you, that's fine. What you could do if you're doing marker is you might have to work a little more with a technique we call cross hatching. And that's turning the colors this way and that way to create that illusion of value. Sometimes you may only have the wide-tipped washable markers. And again, this does present a little more of a challenge, but that's not to say that you can't do it. It works equally well. And then you can see where now I'm going to make marks on the paper that are very far apart, which gives the illusion of value from dark to light. And then you'll just keep working on this until you end up with a piece that is all the way filled in. Look at your notes. I'm not sure what your teacher has for you on this. She may have you, or he may have you taking it home with you today, or they may want you to keep it at school. So pay attention to the notes. Also, please remember to get your name on the back of that paper so you can be sure to get that back. I hope you enjoy this project and have fun with it today.
I hope you have enjoyed this series on early finishers. Hopefully that video can serve as a resource for both you and your students. Also remember you can save that one for the substitute file as well. Remember our discussion question, just asking you guys to post what you're doing with students who finish early. Please share that in our discussion, and then remember all the links that you'll need are at the end.